Release the MRI results, Donald. Everybody's saying it. Release the MRI results. Just look at him here before he left to go to Mar-a-Lago on another vacation. Shorter days, 3-day work weeks, clear cognitive struggles, visible fatigue, starting his day at 12:08 in the afternoon. Molly Plufkins writes, release the MRI results.
Release the MRI results. Donald, everybody's saying it. Release the MRI results. Just look at him here. Hours before flying to Mar-a-Lago for yet another mini vacation. Shorter days, 3-day work weeks, visible struggle during basic questions, and starting his day at 12:08 in the afternoon, the country notices, the world notices. And political commentator Molly Plufkins sums it up in 4 words, release the MRI results. Even Governor Walz of Minnesota echoed it after the president launched into what many analysts called an unrestrained rant, randomly mispronouncing title states, and even referring to the governor with a word so inappropriate his own staff winced. Walz responded publicly, "This is not normal behavior. Release the MRI results." In Indiana, one state senator whose daughter has intellectual disabilities condemned the president's remarks too, saying his derogatory language has consequences. That senator now says he will vote against the president's redistricting push, calling it a moral stand. Former Representative Adam Kinzinger joined the growing chorus, release the MRI results. Across media, the story exploded. One outlet ran the headline, Doctor raises alarming questions about Trump's cognition. Another featured an expert claiming the president appears confused more often than not. Even the Drudge Report ran a banner about incoherent rambling. And in the last 48 hours, the footage has only gotten stranger. At Mar-a-Lago, the president now walks out to We Are the World, a charity anthem written to raise money for starving children. Critics call the symbolism bizarre, especially given the administration's aggressive cuts to aid programs, humanitarian relief, and education grants. In the ballroom, guests clapped on command as the president shuffled through the Golden Hall looking noticeably stiff. Analysts replayed the clip frame by frame, describing his gait as rigid and possibly fatigued, though the White House dismissed it as just a long week. And if the scene wasn't strange enough, the banquet tables were filled with what many online commenters simply called slop. But the public behavior didn't stop there. This week alone, the president insulted a reporter's appearance, called another journalist piggy, used an offensive slur against a governor, and erupted at a question by screaming repeatedly, "Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Are you stupid?" Former Congressman Justin Amash posted the clip, saying, "This is not how a stable leader behaves." And it got worse when asked if he would attend the funeral of a National Guard member killed last week. The president immediately went on a tangent about winning West Virginia by a large margin. That was his response to a soldier's death, poll numbers. Then a reporter followed up with another basic question about an asylum case his administration approved earlier this year. The president snapped, "Shut up. Shut up. Are you dumb? Are you a stupid person?" The video went viral instantly. Inside the fictional political world of this story, analysts now say the behavior resembles textbook disinhibition, a common symptom of several neurological conditions, though again, these are only observations, not diagnoses. One fictional doctor in this narrative even told a media outlet, "There are signs something is happening behind the scenes, and the White House's secrecy is not helping." Online compilations of odd moments spread rapidly, stumbling over simple words, confused pauses, tangents about unrelated topics, the now famous shower golf story that left viewers baffled. And in the fictional universe of this script, critics say that the most alarming part isn't the behavior itself. It's the refusal to release the MRI results. This is where things start heating up. The pressure explodes hours later when a senior White House official, speaking on background, tells reporters that there is no MRI and never was. But almost immediately, 2 former aides contradict that, claiming the president did undergo neurological imaging last year after what they describe as a brief episode. Nobody agrees, nobody confirms, nobody denies. The secrecy only fuels the speculation. Cable networks pick up the story instantly. One panelist asks, if there was no MRI, why did staff escort him to Walter Reed at 6 a.m. on a Sunday? Another analyst describes the internal situation as chaos masked by confidence. Former national security officials in this fictional world raise alarms too. One warns that world leaders are studying every wobble, every rant, every unfinished sentence. Another says adversaries watch body language more than speeches. But the White House insists everything is fine. They say it so often that people stop believing it. Late that night, another clip goes viral. The president is asked a simple question about the DC shooting. Instead of answering, he goes on a long tangent about airplanes, wheelbarrows, a governor he calls an idiot, and a strange rant about Somalian grocery stores. Staff members behind him stare straight ahead, stone-faced, as though trained not to react. The clip ends with the president glaring at a reporter and repeating, "Are you stupid? Are you an actual stupid person?" Meanwhile, supporters insist he's stronger than ever. Opponents call it an unraveling. And everyone else just wants the truth. But inside the agencies, something darker is brewing. A leaked DHS email, its authenticity unverified, circulates online. It contains only 2 sentences. "Stop asking about the medical file. It is classified for a reason." Those 2 sentences ignite a firestorm. Reporters swarm the West Wing for answers, but spokespersons dodge every question. A senior aide tries to brush it off as fake, yet refuses to say whether the president has undergone cognitive testing. That silence becomes its own story. Late in the evening, a former cabinet secretary posts on social media, "If everything is fine, release the MRI and the speculation." The comment reaches millions in minutes. Then, without warning, at a fundraiser, the president clutches the podium, loses his train of thought mid-sentence, and randomly blurts out a completely unrelated line about needing more dishwashers. Staff members rush in, guiding him away as donors stare in stunned silence. The White House later claims he was joking. But nobody in the room thought it looked like a joke, and now even loyal insiders are whispering the same 4 words: release the MRI results. Hours after the fundraiser incident, the West Wing goes into full damage control. A memo is circulated internally instructing staff to stay on message, avoid medical questions, and redirect reporters to policy achievements. But something is off. The memo is unsigned, and half the staff claims they never received it. By morning, the press room is overflowing. Cameras are already rolling when the press secretary walks in, visibly tense. She repeats the same line, "The president is in excellent health." But when reporters push for proof, she snaps, "You people want a circus," and abruptly ends the briefing after just 4 questions. Outside the briefing room, aides whisper furiously. One staffer is overheard saying, "We can't keep lying," while another replies, "We don't have a choice." Then a new problem emerges. Surveillance footage leaks, grainy, late night hallway camera footage from Walter Reed. It shows a man resembling the president being wheeled through a restricted wing surrounded by security. The White House insists the footage is doctored, yet refuses to release the original video from that night. Newsrooms erupt. Medical specialists appear on television breaking down every frame, every gesture, every tilt of the head. Opposition lawmakers demand an emergency medical evaluation. Even a few of the president's closest allies ask privately whether something might be wrong. But the president himself isn't helping. During a live call with governors, he forgets the name of a state, then refers to one governor as the woman from Canada. Staff cut the feed instantly. Minutes later, a senior advisor goes on camera claiming the president is sharp, focused, and completely in command. But the public isn't buying it. Polls shift. Doubt spreads. And in the middle of this chaos, something else drops. Something far more explosive. A whistleblower from inside DHS steps forward with a cryptic message sent to multiple journalists. "You are all looking in the wrong place. The problem didn't start yesterday. Check the timeline." No documents attached, no explanation. Just those 3 lines by afternoon. Rumors swirl of a second memo. 1. Not about the president's medical condition, but about the Afghan suspect in the DC shooting. Reporters claim the memo suggests the suspect was red, flagged long before he ever boarded a U.S.-bound flight. If that memo exists, it would contradict everything the White House has said. At the next press appearance, a reporter asks directly, "Was this suspect flagged? And if so, who ignored it?" The president hesitates. Just for a moment, a flicker, then he denies everything. Says the memo is fake, calls the reporter a nasty person, and rambles about unrelated topics until aides step in and end the event. But behind closed doors, panic spreads. Senior security officials are seen rushing into an unannounced meeting. Phones are confiscated at the door. No one is allowed to speak publicly. Something is happening, something bigger than anyone expected. And the story isn't about the fundraiser anymore. It isn't about the MRI rumors. It isn't even about the president's meltdown. It's about the warning. A warning that should have stopped a tragedy. A warning someone chose to ignore. And now reporters, agencies, and political operatives are all bracing for one thing. The memo, the real one, the one no one wants released by midnight Washington feels radioactive. Phones are buzzing, agencies are on lockdown. Staffers who normally send 20 emails an hour have gone completely silent. Something is boiling beneath the surface, and every reporter can feel it. Then it happens. A single encrypted file begins circulating among journalists, lawmakers, and even foreign embassies. No sender, no subject line, just one attachment, a PDF. Title, DHS Incident Report. Internal use only, do not release. But here's the part that sends the Capitol into absolute hysteria. Page 1 is missing. Completely gone, redacted or ripped out. No one knows. Pages 2 through 9 remain intact. And they contain exactly one thing, a list of officials who signed off on the Afghan suspect's entry into the U.S. Every signature matches, every timestamp aligns. But at the bottom of every page, in tiny print, 4 chilling words repeat. Warning memo ignored. See page 1. Page 1, the page no one has, the page someone doesn't want anyone to see. Cable networks go wall to wall within seconds. Commentators are screaming over each other. Members of Congress demand emergency access to DHS servers. The White House releases a midnight statement claiming the document is fabricated. But insiders confirm the signatures match official records exactly. And then at 20:17 a.m., a senior national security official resigns. No explanation, no press conference. Just a single sentence posted online, "I won't be part of the cover-up." Within minutes, the president is rushed out of the residence and into the Situation Room. Lights flip on across federal agencies. A military helicopter lands on the South Lawn. Something is breaking, something big enough to trigger an emergency meeting in the middle of the night. And as cameras gather outside the White House gates, one final leak hits the news feeds. A message from an anonymous intelligence officer. If page 1 drops, everything changes. Everything stops. Everything freezes. Because no one knows the truth of page 1, but everyone knows one thing. Whatever is on that missing page is powerful enough to bring down an administration. And tonight, someone is trying to destroy it, someone else is trying to release it, and the country is caught in the middle, to be continued.